Try this again.
Former President Trump courting the black vote at a church in Detroit.
Yes. Try this one more time. As I was saying.
Detroit, baselessly casting doubt on the 2020 election as a way to attack the 2024 election.
Yes. I saw pictures and whatnot from inside that black church in Detroit. Just from the people that were in that building on that day. Any other day it might be a black church. It was not on that day. On that day, that building was a black church in the same way that Little House on the Prairie is a black show. Okay?
Turning Point Action Conference last night.
We're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2024. We need to watch the vote. We need to guard the vote. We need to stop the steal. We don't need
That's
votes.
a great way to get somebody beat up.
As we're just 11 days away from a key moment in the presidential election, the very first one-on-one debate, which will be right here.
I mean,
on
you come
CNN.
bugging
My first
me
guest could be theoretically
when I'm going
joining
to the
Donald
poll.
Trump
I
on the
will throw
Republican
hands.
ticket. Joining us now, potential Trump vice presidential pick,
I
Republican
will.
Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, also a U.S. veteran. Thank you so much for being here, Senator. Really appreciate
Especially
it.
at that guy. I would especially love an opportunity to throw hands at that guy.
In terms of military
I
aid.
know I
Last
could
night at
take
a
him.
rally in Michigan, the former president, Mr. Trump, went after Ukrainian President Zelensky for constantly seeking U.S. aid, saying, quote, "It never ends, it never ends." This is a criticism that comes after he reportedly told House Republicans when he was on the Hill the other day that the money the U.S. is sending to Ukraine isn't worth it, and asked, quote, "If Ukraine wins, what will be the benefit," unquote. Now, you've been a strong supporter of military aid to Ukraine to fend off Putin's war.
If Ukraine wins, what's the benefit? That's the thing. I mean, we're not looking at we're looking at I guess, a net benefit. Would that be the proper? Because the benefit is stopping Putin and his expansion. I mean, if this idiot was a real veteran, instead of a guy who obviously just like phoned his entire service in, then he would understand things like strategy. And he would also have pride in his country instead of being a fake patriot. But I mean, like, Tom Cotton is a patriotic American in the same way that Putin is a patriotic American. But this is the thing. You can't trust anything any Republican says because they're all contrarians right now. They're all contrarians right now. If Biden went on TV and said, "Don't punch yourself in the face," all of the Trump supporters would be walking around with black eyes tomorrow, I promise you.
What is your answer to that question?
He's about to say something idiotic. Oh my God. Watch, he's going to say it's Biden's fault that Putin invaded.
What will be the benefit if Ukraine wins?
Well, Jake, thanks for having me on, and a happy Father's Day to you.
To you as well.
Because he says that all the
Happy
time.
Father's Day to all the dads out there. I think it's important to look at the context of what's happened in Ukraine over the last 10 years. I've noticed that Vladimir Putin only invades Ukraine when Democrats are president. It happened under Barack Obama. It happened under Joe Biden. It didn't happen with Donald Trump. In fact, the weapons that Ukraine used...
I wish Jake Tapper was slick enough. If I was in Jake Tapper's seat right there, I would have immediately said, "So you're saying you're colluding with Putin to have him only invade during Democrat presidencies?" That's exactly what I would hit this pencil neck geek with.
In the early days of this.
I'm telling you right now, he spent... Don't call him a veteran. He spent his entire enlistment eating ass. Okay, he's a veteran of eating ass.
This war to fend off the Russian invasion are the weapons that Donald Trump sent. that Barack Obama and Joe Biden had refused to send. One reason why
That
Joe Biden, or why
this is the thing I don't understand. I don't understand why the media lets Republicans sit there and just lie. It's like, oh, but if we counter them, they won't come back. Good. You refuse to do interviews, your message doesn't get out, moron.
Vladimir
be a
Putin thought
pussy.
he could get away
Be a
with going for the
reporter.
jugular in Ukraine is because of the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, which projected weakness in the decision. It was just a few weeks later that he began to mass troops.
It projected weakness. On the day that it came that Trump's plan, which Trump's agreement, Trump's treaty, let's make this important. Trump's agreement that he made with the Taliban, because yes, Trump colluded with the Taliban. But the agreement that Trump made with the Taliban on the day that it came for us to give the Taliban what Trump had promised them, Joe Biden did. There was no weakness or indecision. He said, well, here's what Trump promised you. This guy needs to wipe the orange cum off his lips before he speaks on camera. Kids don't need to see orange cum dripping from someone's mouth when they speak.
On Ukraine's border. President Trump has said that he believes and supports Ukraine's survival and strength, but he also thinks that Europe should do more, in fact, should care more, because it is in their backyard, it is on their borders. I think that too. Europe should be doing more of this. But what we all want is a return to the peace and stability that we had when President Trump was president.
He speaks like a robotic sex doll.
Not the war and chaos we've seen over the last 4 years.
Does it bother you at all when President Trump says things like, if Ukraine wins, what will be the benefit, which contradict the policy issues you...
And this is why I don't like him. He did not push back against any of that. This guy just shoveled bullshit on CNN. And people with gullible minds will think, well, since I saw it on the news, it must be true. And they're going to think everything Tom Cotton just said was true. And it's horse shit. God, Jake Tapper's such a weak-ass cocksucker.
You just illustrated.
Well, President Trump, again, presided for 4 years over peace and stability. I understand that European leaders and Democrats here in America didn't care for some of the language or rhetoric he used. I would say that was necessary to get tough on foreign leaders who are putative.
All he did was call people names and then went over there and sucked their toes. What is he... And the way he speaks is just so inhuman. It's like he's rehearsed this.
Allies who had been free riding off of American military strength for 35 years. And what you saw is European leaders actually finally investing in their common defense. That's something they'll do again when President
Nothing he's saying is true or verifiable.
Trump is back in the White House.
Watch
Nothing
what
he's
2024
saying
chicken
is
does to your
true.
belly.
This is a chicken
verifiable.
from 1950s.
The Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court Friday overturned the
And he
Trump-era
doesn't-
ban on bump stock.
He's just, I can't. Fuck you, Jake Tapper. I'm not going to that yet. In this, I'll show you just how delusional and why it's important to push
I
back.
don't want someone in power that's going to not want to leave. I don't want someone
Oh my God.
like,
You are not a Republican. There's just
See?
no freaking way.
behind
See?
every
See, there you go. There you go. And look at these guys. Look at these guys. These are going to be pro-Trumpers. I already know these are going to be pro-Trump Republicans. You know how I know? Because they dressed like him. Look at this. Look at this. They're trying to emulate him. How sad is that? I mean, you gonna go knock on doors like Jehovah's Witnesses? Hi, Trumpova's Witnesses. Have you heard the word of Trump? And then this other thing, she's going to spend the whole thing calling anyone who doesn't gargle Trump's balls on the daily and suckle at his teats like the hog he is. She's going to call it, you're not a real Republican, because that's how they work. You're not a real, that's how cults work. I mean, go look it up. Like, just remove the politics from it and go look at how cults work and how that whole thing happens. Look up on the Mansons, the Branch Davidians, which, you know, that's the wackos from Waco, as they were called, David Koresh and all that. Any of these cults, look at how it works, that whole thing of the purity test, and it just keeps raising the bar of what you will do. Look up Scientology, what you have to do to commit, to appease dear leader to stay in. Everybody, oh, I'm more Trump than you. And anyone who doesn't, well, you're not real. You're not real. You can't be in the club unless you blindly follow and abide. No, you're the one that's really brainwashed. All of that.
Every never Trump Republican is a story for why that person is weak.
Did you mean Barack Hussein?
See? 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 And he's going to, behind every Trump Republican is a story for why that person is weak. But then you look at him, the guy who debases himself by, oh, I've got to dress like Trumpty Dumpty. I got to put on my cosplay. I mean, here's the thing. Here's what I need you to see. You're looking at this and you're automatically assuming, oh, this is someone in drag. But what I need everyone who can hear my voice, whoever watches this video at any point in the future, you're looking at this person and you're saying, oh, this person's in drag. I need you to know this person's in drag. And my God, I would pay for an opportunity to tell him to his face, you're in drag, dude.
Never Trump Republican is a story for why that person is weak.
Did you mean Barack Hussein Obama?
January 6th itself. I mean, was it a bad day? Absolutely. It was a bad day.
I have to disagree.
Quiet, quiet. You guys. Lady Maga, can you guide everybody in a deep breath? Hey, my name's...
And this is going to be great because we're going to see how fucking feral the Republican Party has become. This is normally I kind of laugh at Jubilee because it just seems like sensationalism. Like they're not really trying to accomplish anything. Like sometimes it seems like, hey, this is a look at real people in the human condition. But you have to keep in mind, these people know the cameras are rolling. Right? So I don't always trust it. But in this instance, I'm telling you, the way Republicans act nowadays, it doesn't matter if the camera's on or not. Their volume knob is cranked to 11, 24/7 anymore. Because he's emboldened all of the worst of them in their worst qualities. And what this is going to show us is just how fucking feral they've become. But first, I need to fill my cup with drink.